any of my personal artwork, the links are always down below. We have the brand new website that I just restocked. There's a bunch of stuff on there right now if you do want to buy anything of mine, or if you just want to see some pretty pottery pictures, I put the links down below. Links are down below for you. You ain't gotta buy nothing. You could just look, but don't touch. Touching costs money, or else Mickey's gonna come over and rough you up. Mickey! No, this chair is too short. Well, this chair is too tall. Hold on, I got it. Hello, you dirty potters. How are you today? After the long-awaited video announcement of the winner of the number 3 Dirty Potter Challenge, which is supposed to be the one where I challenge you to make a Pokemon sculpture, you make it, and then I sprinkle you with nice things. This is finally that video. Now, for those of you who are new, because since the last Dirty Potter Challenge, I think we were at like 28,000 subscribers, and now we're at a lot more. I should probably give some type of overview of what the Dirty Potter Challenge is. For quite some time, I've gotten really tired of going to arts and crafts festivals of a crafter or a potter or any artist making the same thing over and over again. I'm tired of going to art festivals and seeing somebody make only bowls and only cups for the last 40 years, never stepping outside of their comfort zone. And because of this, I decided, along with my channel, to just make a playlist called the Dirty Potter Challenge, where I challenge you to make something. I pick a winner of this, for lack of better words, contest, and then I give that person something in the mail. This time it was a clay print, kind of like mine, you know, except for yours would be brand new. For this contest, not only was a brand new clay print on the line, a fan brush as well as a little bottle of crystal glaze from Duncan was on the line as well. So at the end of this video, I'm gonna be sending somebody all 3 of these things. And that's pretty much the entire contest. I make a video challenging you to do something, you do the thing, you post it on the interwebs, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you like, YouTube. You make sure you use the hashtag Dirty Potter Challenge. I look it up at a later time, I collect all the stuff off the internet, and I make a video like this showing who the winner is while sending that stuff over there, the clay print, the brush, and the crystal glazes, out to the winner of the contest. Now, of course, there's rules and stipulations to it. For example, if you didn't post a picture of you working on it, or at least the final product with the hashtag Dirty Potter Challenge, I pretty much just ignored your picture. That being said, this is the results video of all of your hard work and dedication to the Dirty Potter Challenge. But before I actually get into reviewing the stuff, because usually I collect videos and pictures and hot sauce, I show them to you guys, I tell you what I think of your projects, I review them, I give you a nice little shout out so people might want to find you on Instagram or wherever you posted, and then I choose a winner at the very end of it. But before we start this video, I'm gonna go on a little tiny rant, and because I know not everyone is here specifically for the rant, I'm gonna give you an out. This timestamp right here will skip the rant. This way you don't have to hear anything from me. If you just want to go straight to the pictures, you want to see who did the thing, you can leave a like down below and be on your merry little way scrolling down Instagram, because it feeds off little dopamine lights in your head and you don't know what else to do with your life because you're stuck inside all day, but you can at least pretend like you have somewhere to be by clicking that right there. And if you're an ultra sweaty tryhard who just really badly wanted to win this competition because you're a type A personality, and if you don't win, it means nothing else in the world matters. And if you just want to see the winner and be on your merry little way, you can click the timestamp down below, so that way you don't have to go through any of that. You don't have to see other people's beautiful artwork and then feel bad about yourself because if you ain't first, you're last. Ricky Bobby. Sorry, I'm so hyper today. I had a mixture of coffee and pre-workout, but I'm also out of coffee, which makes me a certain level of like angry because I just ran out of coffee, but happy because I drank the last of my coffee, which makes me happy. Sweet, if you made it to this part of the video, you have master-like patience, and I want to give a little chit-chat in between you and I as for an explanation as to why this video was so late. Most of you who are invested in the Dirty Potter challenges, or at least watch them and participate in them, probably know that this challenge was set out to you guys like 7 or 8 months ago. But you also probably know why it's been delayed so long. As soon as I posted the Dirty Potter challenge, I want to say maybe 3 weeks in or so, the sickness, which will not be named because I'll get demonetized, decided to rear its ugly head, which means everybody pretty much went on lockdown for a while, which means all the studios closed, all the schools closed, which means only one specific type of person had access to actually compete in this challenge, which were people like myself, which have kilns inside of their own houses. Which to me was unfair. I wanted students, I wanted studio potters. I just didn't want homestead potters to compete in this competition, right? And for those of you who actually tried to compete in the competition, and then you made something, and then everybody went into lockdown once the sickness came around, right? After that, your stuff just dried out in your studio and you don't have time to remake one. Not only that, as I make this video, we're still technically in lockdown. Schools just started to open up again, and I'm pretty sure it's just because parents are getting tired of their kids and the government doesn't want to give us more money. So I decided to stop the Dirty Potter Challenge timer. Instead of extending it to like 2.5 months, I extended it indefinitely until the COVID thing stopped. But it never stopped. I thought it was gonna go away in like 4 months, but it didn't. And then I recorded the episode anyway and decided, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna put it out, I'm gonna pick a winner. All of a sudden, California caught on fire, and guess where I live? That's right, California. The sky straight looked like Blade Runner for a week. My job had to close down certain days. My boss called me and he was like, yeah, don't even come in. Yeah, don't even come in. What are you wearing? Usually if something catastrophic happened, I would still push the video back. Let's imagine there was a typhoon in Japan, and I'm well aware that there's some people who are fans of my channel in Japan who are participating. I would then extend it like a month longer so everybody can have a chance. But it wasn't just one place this time. That's honestly why it took so long. I've already decided a winner like 2 or 3 months ago. I already knew who was gonna win. I just didn't want to announce it early. I did want to make a video explaining why it took so long. Coincidentally, there was also a group of people who understood that they had the advantage because they had access to a kiln somehow, while the other people didn't, like the other 2/3 of the people I was talking about. And because of that, they were like, so when's that video gonna be made? We gonna get on that video? You gonna announce the winner? Huh? You gonna announce the winner? Is the winner coming up, please? I know most of you already know why the video is delayed. You have enough perception to be like, oh, the world's on fire, including where Donte specifically lives is actually on fire. Okay, we're done with all that. Now let's go over some of the entries of the Dirty Potter Challenge. The Dirty Potter Challenge this time was kind of easy, but honestly just kind of for me personally. I challenge you guys to make a sculpture of a Pokemon, your favorite Pokemon, rather. And a lot of you did fantastic work. I'm really proud of most of you. Of course, most of you are around my age range or maybe like 5 to 10 years younger. So a lot of you just picked first generation Pokemon, which part of me thinks that you picked that specifically because you know I'm from that generation and you're trying to tug at my heartstrings. And the other half of me just thinks that since you're around my age range, that's probably the one you're most familiar with. Either way, you're not tugging at my heartstrings, that's a lie, because I saw some of them and they're great. I'm sitting in a spinny chair and I am so sorry. But also, spinny chair. The rules were pretty simple this time, seeing as you can slipcast if you felt like it, you can sculpt, you could use rubber, you didn't have to stick to ceramic, as long as it was 3-dimensional. So it could be made out of plastic, poly, fiber, whatever you want, could be made out of cotton, whatever you wanted it to, as long as you use the hashtag Dirty Potter Challenge, I've most likely found it. The high majority of the entries came on Instagram, as that's where I like to hang out. I had 1 from Twitter, and then I had like 7 from Facebook, but that's about all I got because clearly there's a virus going around the entire planet Earth. Not only that, California literally caught on fire, and sometimes I be living there. And by sometimes I mean all the times I be living there. Also, before we start, I'm really sorry if I mispronounce any of your names because I'm absolutely going to. This first one is from Alyssa on Instagram. You can find her handle at redbeanart on Instagram. Let's watch the video she gave us. You know, weirdly enough, a lot of you guys chose Magikarp. I had like 5 Magikarp entries. And I feel like that speaks to a lot of us because a lot of us were like, oh, we're weak little nerds. But somewhere in you, you have the potential to be a Gyarados. Unfortunately, as I matured, I never felt like a Gyarados. I just felt like a stronger Magikarp. But every now and then I see like a real adult that is like a full-grown Gyarados, and I'm like, oh, okay. So not every pony grows up to be a Pegasus. Some of us just become stronger horses. I enjoyed this one a lot because although I did see her other posts of her working on different pieces of the Magikarp, I enjoyed this specific video the most. I chose this one because I wanted you guys to see the level of detail that she's putting into the Magikarp. She's literally painting on the scales. There's a splash of water coming up that's holding up the Magikarp, and she colored everything in with what I assume is underglaze. This next one is from Hannah Jo G on Instagram. You know, I really enjoy when you guys give me the videos because I can just rip the videos off of the internet and then put them on YouTube. But it also makes me really happy to see you guys working on them because I get to see how you guys approach what you're working on. You know, it's more for me than it is for you at this point, but I get to see her working on what I can only assume is a Celebi, and while I was watching this, I did assume that, and I was right, because at the end of this venture, I got to see the final products of what she made, but the most important part that I was thinking of was like, man, how are you gonna get the wings to stay and suspend in there? And she just like gashed 2 giant holes in the back of the Celebi and just put them in there, scoring and slipping them. And I was like, yep, that's what I would have done too, to be honest. I know there's better ways to do it, but I would have been like, nope, putting holes in here. But you wanna know my favorite part of this whole thing from Hannah Jo G? She put Celebi in its natural environment. That's right. Celebi belongs in the woods. I don't know if you know that, but that's Pokemon lore. Alright, if you ever find Celebi in the middle of a city, no. They don't live there. Celebi only comes to the pure-hearted in the middle of the woods when they're like alone or something. I don't know enough about the lore, but all I know is that pure-hearted is the key. I mean, it's not like I expect all the people who made Magikarp to like throw their Magikarp in the ocean. But I just do appreciate that she kind of went for this aesthetic on purpose. Thank you very much, Hannah. This next one comes from Jennifer Pottery on Instagram. This was actually one of my favorite ones because as we watch it, you get to see the entire process. As someone who edits video, I know what it is to like record yourself, put music behind it, do the thing, you know, like it takes a while. So I do appreciate the extra effort that you put in. I also appreciate that this is probably the only other Pokemon that is non-first generation. It's not like I'm like, ew, first generation, but I do like to see something out of my own comfort zone because my comfort zone is very much first generation Pokemon. I remember all of them. Thank you, Jennifer. I enjoyed that one a lot. I'm not gonna lie, I had to look up what that Pokemon was. I had no idea what it was. I was like, is that a baby Vulpix? Or like a Pichu with its tail wrapped? Pichus don't have swirly tails. This one is from Random Spontaneum on Instagram. I think their real name is Shelby, but it's spelled like Shelly B. Never mind, their first name is probably just Shelly, and their last name is probably just something with a B. I'm dumb. You see, I was really into this one because it looked like they were sculpting one of the legendary dogs, but I never got to see a final product. I got to see the sculpting of the legendary dog. I never got to see like the final thing of it. I think it's Siswing, if I'm correct, if I remember from what, 20 years ago. There's a bunch of entries that I saw that just never got completed or people didn't post. I heavily assume it was because of the sickness that was going around. That is going around. And because of that, I had to cut out like at least 11, 12 people just because I saw like the beginning stages of what you're working on, and then people just dropped the project because they were like, I can't go to my studio anymore, it's closed. But I did still want to show some of the video to show that I did see that you were putting work towards it, and I did like what you were doing. I liked them a lot. In fact, you weren't the only person to try and make one of the legendary dogs. I believe another person, Mildly Meditated Pottery on Instagram, also made something that looked like it was gonna be an Espeon, but I never got to see the final product. And it's only because, oh, it's so sad because it looked so good too. it looks so nice. I was like, wow, that's gonna be really nice. And because I didn't put an actual size modifier on this, like I didn't say it had to be a certain amount of space or size in the kiln or anything like that, a lot of people made smaller things like this. This looks quite small in comparison to what I thought most people would make. There's even one person that went a little bit further and made stuff like as big as a quarter. Gray Catco on Instagram made a Psyduck and an Eevee out of this weird poly. I have no idea what it is. I don't even know if it's actually clay, but they left me a little video of them like smushing it afterwards. And my brain was like, that's either really wet clay or that's some kind of weird clay composite that I have no idea what it is. But you can see that they put a quarter next to their sculpture for size comparison, which is ultimately impressive to me. There's a weird sector of the pottery world where people make things ultra super ultra big, like as big as a human being, if not taller, and they have to stand on stools and whatnot. And there's also the opposite end where people make stuff like super tiny, but they're both seen as impressive because they both require you to master the middle range of pottery skill. Like, you're not making the huge thing unless you know how to make at least a bowl first. You're also not making the super small thing unless you know how to perfectly center like 100 grams of clay. Gray Catco found a little way around it though. These are technically finished and painted products. I didn't say that they had to be put in the kiln technically, but I did say they have to be finished products. And whatever material this is made out of, this is a finished product, so it counts. Let's move on to another one of my favorites. Somebody who actually went a little bit above and beyond for the challenge. This one is SRHS Ceramics. You know what? Usually I would try and finagle that into a name, but I don't think that's a name. I think it's like an anagram. It stands for something, but I heavily doubt your name is psoriasis. You can see here that they started to sculpt the stuff. They put a little picture next to it and everything. They made a Charmander, they made a Charmeleon, and then it just kind of like dropped off. I don't see a finished product anywhere. The only person who did something close to this was someone else who made Charmander, Charmeleon, and Charizard and finished all of them all the way through. I think they saw the challenge and immediately got on it. That person is Manic Ceramic Shop on Instagram, and they made us like a Charmander, and made a Charmeleon, and then they made a Charizard. Do I look cool? Am I doing it? Am I doing the Charizard? And then as a final picture, they put all three of them together and scaled them to height. This was great. Like, I saw the first one and I was like, that looks like a Charmander. And then I saw a Charmeleon and I was like, oh, they made two of them. Very nice. And then I saw the third one, and the third one, it kind of looked like they started off and got a little bit better with every one. You know, I bet if I talked to this person, they'd be like, yeah, it feels more natural now to make this form as I'm practicing on it. And then I saw all three together and I was like, wow, this person really went above and beyond. Wow, I'm really impressed by this. I hope this is in somebody's room displayed on a wall or something, because I'd be impressed. I mean, I'd be impressed because I like Pokemon, but that's a whole different subject. Let's move on to the next one by, Sabrina! For those of you who don't know, Ceramic Sabrina is another ceramic art YouTuber. I think she just got her start maybe a year ago, but I'm really happy she decided to get into this contest. And what's more, she made us a Snorlax. I was really happy about it. I didn't see a video about it. I was kind of hoping for like a YouTube video for the Dirty Potter Challenge, but you know what? I'm happy with this as well. This is one of the forms that I think would be a little easier to make, and she did a fantastic job at putting the underglaze right where it goes. Snorlax in its awake form looks like a nightmare because Snorlax constantly has like these closed eyes, and every now and then, every couple episodes of Pokemon, you get to see him like open his eyes, and it's horrible. It's a nightmare. He's constantly supposed to look like laid back, sleepy, and happy. You know, like you in your high school years when you figured out how to smoke the devil's lettuce. Thank you very much for that entry, Sabrina. If you haven't seen Ceramic Sabrina's YouTube channel, I will put a link to her channel down below. Go show her some love. Tell her Earth Nation sent you. Go ahead and give her a Dirty Potter high five, which we don't do because it's virus time. This next entry actually blew me out of the water. This one is by Handmade Curiosities. I don't think they're just a ceramic Instagram page or anything like that. I think they make a bunch of different materials. I think this is made out of clay, but I would not be surprised if like this was a slip cast of sorts or something like that, or somebody like threw this on the wheel as a form and then morphed it afterwards. But I was really impressed with it. It's like a horror version of Licking Tongue. And I'm really, really impressed with it. Not only was I impressed by the bisque form of it, or at least the clay form of it without the glaze on it, you got to see the glaze on it. And remember that one time I told you when sleepy Pokemon open their eyes, it looks horrifying? Yeah, this is in your dreams now. One thing I would like to ask you, Handmade Curiosities, I'm not mad, but I am curious. Why did you give it teeth? Why did you make it look like a hybrid in between like somebody with perfectly aligned teeth and a monster? I'm scared and impressed at the same time, to be honest with you. This kind of looked like most Pokemon say their own name when you find them in the wild, right? So, and excuse my dialect of Pokemon, please. I'm not fluent in the accent. But if a Lickitung came out, you'd be like, Lickitung, right? But this looks like it would come out of you and be like, wah! Do you want to be my new Pokemon master? Wah! Oh no, I want nothing to do with you. But I can't deny the fact that it would take a lot of skill and preparation to... Here, give this a little bit of detail look, right? Look at the stomach. The stomach is a different, lighter color than the rest of the skin. The tongue is out, it's skewed a little bit. Everything that was done on this was done on purpose. This isn't an amateur, okay? But also, I'll fair warning now, this person didn't win, even though this is really impressive. Massive shout out to this person. I only say they didn't win because I feel like it would be like giving a ringer. Like this would be like inviting Michael Phelps to a public pool swimming competition. Like, clearly, you have what it takes to win. But like, I would be a butthole for giving you the prize because you're Michael Phelps in this competition. Do let it be known that I am massively impressed and scared at the same time though. I'm gonna delete this picture right after because I'd like to sleep tonight. Okay, look, I know you guys like to be inventive with your Instagram names, but like, why? This next one is from Smazarek Makes Pots on Instagram. This one was really intriguing to me because it threw me off a little bit. I saw this and I was like, oh, you're making a Bulbasaur. Only to find out in the next picture that they're actually making an Ivysaur. And you just had to start from a Bulbasaur, which nerd-wise makes sense in my brain because of course Bulbasaur evolves into Ivysaur, you know what I mean? So of course the base would be that. But I think they just had to make the bulb in the middle to add flower petals for Ivysaur, which makes sense. At the end of this, I got to see it glazed and fully glazed. And even the fully glazed product looks fairly accurate. There's always some sort of discrepancy, like you could have glazed it any color you wanted. But there's always some sort of discrepancy in between people who are like, I made this, but it's blue instead of red. And I'm like, that's cool, you can make it whatever color you want. But it does get a little bit more impressive to me when I see how well colored in the eyes are for Ivysaur. Like that is the color they are supposed to be. It looks like someone actually went out of their way to look up a picture of Ivysaur and then color the eyes in the color they're supposed to be so that my brain, my childhood brain goes, oh yeah, you remember the Pokemon? I remember the Pokemon. Especially the eyes, like I can't stop looking at the eyes. The rest of it looks like it's fighting gravity, which makes sense because you're gonna have to with a lot of Pokemon parts. But the eyes are like, if you just look at the eyes, it kind of looks like it kind of looks just like the anime. Ah, that hurt me a little bit to call Pokemon an anime. Like it's true, but it's, it kind of feels like calling bagged tea when I know there's Free Leaf right in front of me. It's like, technically it's still tea, but that ain't the good stuff. This next one comes from Just Faye Creations on Instagram. This was another, well not another because the last one was Ivysaur, but this is basically another of the Saur family. You know when you've been loading the kiln all day and you don't have any Vapo Rub on you? The Saur family. Look, it was cute, alright? Sue me. It was cute, sue me. It was cute. It was adorable. And then I saw the glazed version of it and it was the correct colors, but they were shinier and glassier, and I can see like the tiniest bit of crazing in the green, and then it got more cute. I'm starting to think that most of these Pokemon's cuteness factor are in the eyes, because the monster of a Lickitung we saw earlier would have been fine if it just had like the closed eyes, but this one has open eyes, but they're adorable. I like this one as well. It's always good when you guys show me kind of a before and after so you can clearly see the before in the clay, or I'm pretty sure that's raw clay, and then you see the after when it's fully glazed and done. I like that because I'm very aware that some of you are just gonna be like, whoa, take a sculpture of Pokemon, put my name on it. But at least this way I get to see you going through the steps and I'm like, cool, that's clearly yours, you made that. you didn't try and cheat me. This next one is from Mud Pies Pottery on Instagram. This again was another Bulbasaur. I don't know if they made the second one, but there are two Bulbasaurs here. One of them is a darker Bulbasaur, which I like a lot. I know like one of you must have leaked it that like Squirtle and Bulbasaur are my favorites. I hated Charmander. I hated Charmander. People who chose Charmander chose the easy path, red, blue, and yellow. That's right. I said it. You were in the grass area. You just wanted your life to be easy. Oh, statistically, it was the best one to pick. Ah, you took the easy way out, I say. Again, you got to see the before and after, so I got to see them working on the thing itself. But the one next to, like, I show you the main picture, right? And the one next to it looks like it's cotton or fiber of some sort. And then you see the other one next to it, and it looks like they used the fiber of the cotton one as kind of a copy point to like the one they made, and they did a really good job of it, to be honest. I do also appreciate that the Bulbasaur is darker colored, because even though the lore of Pokemon doesn't really confirm it too much, there are different colored Pokemon. Like, all Charizards aren't red. There are like darker Charizards. My brain kind of looks at this and goes, yep. I don't know if you did this on purpose. If you did, it would make me very happy, but my brain kind of looks at this Bulbasaur, the darker one, and goes, yep. That's a dark-skinned Bulbasaur. What you gonna do about it? They even took pictures of them setting them inside the kiln and really messing with them and sculpting them. So I like that. Thank you very much for that entry. I'm digging that one. I really am. This next one is from Forest Paw Prints by JS on Instagram. That was a lot of words into like one thing. This person made a Cubone, and it kind of looks like they made two Cubones, because one of them is like a little bit chunkier. Like you can see the bisque product here, or at least the formed product here. And then you go back and you can like see the longer necked version of it right here that's fully glazed. And it doesn't look super different, but it looks different enough for me to be like, are those different? Did you make two Pokemans? I was pretty happy with this one as well, because it takes a certain level of skill to get that kind of coat on any sculpture. You know, it's not like if most inexperienced people with glaze or underglaze, you'll see a little bit of unevenness in their coat unless they dip, which getting a whole bucket of underglaze is hard to do anyway, even harder to make. So when you see this type of thing where it's very even throughout the finished product, you're like, okay, so you kind of know what you're doing. Cool. But I appreciated this because this was one of the only finished Cubones that I actually got during the entire thing. I didn't see any other finished Cubones. I had like 3 or 4 Cubones, and they were all just regular. None of them were finished, fully glazed. You're the only one who actually got there. Thank you very much for your entry. I like this one, although any Pokemon aficionado can't look at a Cubone and go like, oh, a Cubone. And if you know why, you know why. I don't want to make everybody sad in this video, so I'm not going to say why Cubones are sad, but Cubones be sad, and those of us who know, know. This last one is from Sherry Redfield on Instagram, and I think they sent us an entire video. Oh, Lapras, yes, that was my whole goal of Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. Was like, once you had a Lapras, you were set. They were in your team, they knew ice attacks, you needed them to defeat the Elite Four. I'm so happy you did this one, and I'm happy that you did an entire video of it instead of just like, oh, Bisque, you know. I feel bad because I feel like I'm disqualifying the others by saying that, but I do really appreciate whenever you guys send entire videos. The whole video process really proves to me that not only did you put the work in, you had to edit it, which is more work. And oh, look at that color. I'm rewatching, you can't see it, but I'm rewatching this person like paint the skin and put it on the black racks and put it in the kiln and bring it out, and I'm like, oh, so good. So it's such a dark, deep, rich blue too. Lapras was the ultimate surf Pokemon, where like you taught your Lapras surf, and then you literally surfed on it, and it made sense as far as how the Pokemon looks. Because Lapras looks like it has a seat on its back it's almost like the water camel. You know, like, okay, well clearly I could sit on that, right? Is this a pottery review, or is this just an excuse for Donte to nerd out on some first gen Pokemon? Yes. Here is again on Instagram at The Marvelous Hunt. This one was a little bit tricky for me because it looks like they made two different versions of the Pokemon Magikarp, but like, I never saw a real finished product. I don't know if I missed it or if, you know, the sickness just kind of took down another person. I feel really bad because it was going really well. I saw like a miniature version of it, and then I saw a larger version of it that was painted with no tail, and I was like, yes, put a tail on it, fire it, let's go. But I never saw a finished product of it. I'm gonna count this one, honestly, just because I feel bad about the COVID. I also kind of feel like I might have missed it. If I did, please comment down below if you are watching this video and tell me that I missed it, but I'm gonna count it anyway, so even if I did miss it, you still got in. Because it looks like you got through most of the process. Like, all you had to do was make a tail and glaze it and you were good to go. You did like 80% of the project. As for other people who missed the deadline or didn't finish the project, pretty much made the sculpture of it and then couldn't finish it, couldn't even glaze it, because clearly the sickness took that down. I'm really impressed with the first one you did. I would have liked it if you ran with that first one. The first one looked, I don't want to say more impressive, but more accurate, for sure. This next one is from Throwgrow on Instagram. By the way, they're pretty much all on Instagram. I checked some of the Twitter, and the Twitter ones either didn't finish their projects, or I don't have enough of a following on Twitter in order to like say anything, you know what I mean? Although I didn't have Twitter for like the first 3 years of this channel, so I can't blame you too much. I've never put real effort into Twitter. When I first saw this, I thought this was Groudon. Correct me if I'm wrong, to be honest. I think this is a little bit after Groudon, but you got to see the sculpture version of it, then you got to see it be glazed, and then you got to see it come out as a finished product, and then they give you the old 1-2 flipperoo. Because Throwgrow actually sculpted this Pokemon and then grew plants into it, effectively making this a Pokemon planter. The entire time I was on my phone, I was like, oh, okay, their name's they grew something out of it because their name's Throwgrow. This is probably the most inventive way I've seen somebody use one of their sculptures as far as making a Pokemon. Usually when people make a planter, they just like make a pot, put a disc under it and call it a day, or they throw the disc with the pot and they call it a planter, right? But in all reality, you just need some leakage holes in any pot. You could take a cup, bash the bottom of it with a hammer, and then be like, look, it's a planter. Give me money. Okay, we're done. I'm sorry to say that was all the entries. Usually this would be a bit of a longer episode, but as I said, like, I want to say like 60 or more % of the people that actually entered that I saw pictures of would just like die off. They was just like, meh, no more. Or people on my Discord were like, I took the pictures down because there's no reason to, because why would I? There's like, the virus kind of took it down. Thank you guys for entering. I really appreciate it. The next Dirty Potter challenge will probably be like a month or so after everything kind of calms down, right? I don't think this thing's going away, but I do think like it'll be the new version of the flu where we adapt to it over time. I just, you know, when the flu first came out, or the Spanish flu first came out, we were doing the same thing. We were wearing masks too, and eventually it kind of calmed down. We just got better at it, right? So thank you guys very much. And the winner of the Dirty Potter Pokemon Challenge is, there's no drum roll, I just want to make it real awkward real quick, Hannah Joe G on Instagram. Please contact me on my Instagram or my Facebook or my Twitter, anything like that. Message me. I will message you as well if you don't message me within a couple days. You have about 2 weeks, maybe even 3, to watch this video and reply so I can get your address so I can send you stuff off during the next Patreon package update. So thank you very much. The reason that you won mostly is because you really put heart and soul to this. I really enjoyed it. Like, there were a couple people, like this person here, some of these people just never got to finish their stuff, although they looked amazing. A lot of people just ended up dropping off. I'm really sorry. Like, some of the other pictures that I didn't show, trust and believe I saw all of them. The difference is that either the project wasn't finished, or like I just never saw a finished product because, you know, your studio most likely closed down, or the place you had access to a kiln to closed down as well. Although there were some fantastic entries. Some sculptors out there were really good at it and just never got to a finished product. And I'm really sorry about that. It honestly hurts my heart to see projects just unfinished because of a global pandemic. Although I will say, if I was trying to be realistic about it, I feel like one's a little more important than the other. It also really helps that you put a picture of like yourself with the Celebi in their natural environment. Congratulations, you are the winner of the Dirty Potter Challenge, the Pokemon version. I would say that, you know what, it's less about the sculpture at this point because the sculpture is kind of base, but it's what you did with the sculpture. Kind of like the person who made like a Pokemon and put the planter in it. I was more impressed with that, and I thought that was more inventive than a lot of the other entries, right? You thought out of the box in my mind, right? So thank you very much, you were the winner. Hopefully you guys had a fantastic day. If you like this kind of content, or if you want to see the previous episodes, I will link them after this on the ending screen. That way you can kind of go back and see what we're doing. There's like 1 or 2 other ones, and they're fairly simple. This one was just Pokemon because your boy's a weeaboo. So thank you, Dirty Potters, for joining me today. If you'd like to see any of my personal artwork, the links are always down below. We have the brand new website that I just restocked. There's a bunch of stuff on there right now if you do want to buy anything of mine, or if you just want to see some pretty pottery pictures, I put links down below. Links are down below for you. You ain't gotta buy nothing. You could just look, but don't touch. Touching costs money, or else Mickey's gonna come over and rough you up. Mickey! Hopefully you guys have yourselves a fantastic day, and I will see you, Dirty Potters, next week. I hate all anime, except for Pokemon. Pokemon's a banger. Like, no, Pokemon's what you start with, and then you go up the scale.